The reason I said Columbia River, and I don't think this was the case that I just mentioned, but
Yeah.
when we were at the Columbia River, and we did have the boat on the top, and we bundled everybody up, we got in the boat, dog included, and the Columbia River, when it empties into the ocean, actually, because of the waves in and out and back, they create a land rise right there, and it's called the bar. And when you go out of the Columbia River into the ocean, you're going over the bar. Well, that creates wave motion, a very vicious wave motion, and we're bouncing down and we're bouncing up. And you would at times when we're down in the trough of the river, you don't see anything but water around you, and then you come up and you look and you're going over the next wave and so on. And we got out into the ocean for about 10 minutes, and I said, we got to get out of here. I cranked it up, and we went back across the bar, going back where it was a lot smoother. I said, wow, that was something. I learned that one quick. That wasn't the place to be with that little boat. It was a little 14-foot aluminum craft. Had an outboard motor on it, and that's why we could move. But I'll tell you, it was an experience that I don't think any of the kids ever will forget, that one specifically. One of the nice things there, Columbia River, I'm not sure this is where it happened, but whatever happened, that reminds me of rivers and us being next to it, was fish. We did some fishing, and salmon, caught it, and I didn't like eating fish at that time in my life, and so I got some wood around. Had the kids find some driftwood and some sticks and whatever it was, and we put them down, made a little fire right next to the motorhome, and cranked it up and cooked the fish. I cleaned it, and we cooked it up real nice. The kids ate it, and everybody ate it. It was delicious, according to the reports I got.
Right.
And it kind of smoked it because I threw a little water into the fire once in a while and made the smoke come up, and it looked real good. I think we had some other food with it, but the salmon was neat and it was fresh, that's for sure.
Right.
And I think it was what they call silver salmon as against king. We didn't get to catch a bigger one there at that moment in time.
So, okay, so that was one aspect of a trip. What sorts of things would you do on
these
these
are different
vacations?
trips that I've just
Yeah.
disclosed
Yeah, that's fine.
for now, and different things that we used to do.
Yeah.
Later, when we were in different shopping centers, we would look at different things, but sometimes we would stop and go into something like a museum or the place where they had the telescope that you could look out.
Okay, yeah.
That type of thing. And we did a little of that on the trips, and I'm trying to think of a specific one, things that we did. I know we went past the Shakespeare drama and we didn't stop, but that's up in Oregon there at one point. And
How about touring plants, like manufacturing? Or anything?
yeah.
Think
yeah.
about all the trips and all the different places. Tell us some of the things places we visited.
I wish I could remember the exact name, but
Right.
I'd had your mom write to them, and they said, oh yeah, because when we got there, they said no, and I said, here's the letter. They said, oh yeah, come on in. And all of us went into the smelter.
Okay.
And the beauty of that particular one was something was happening at that moment in time. And when we went through the whole smelter, and they were so nice. They explained exactly what they did and how they took the ore and they made it into whatever metal they were trying to make. But then when we came out, went way back, away from it, and they took the chimney down. They had a huge, long, large chimney, and down it came. They were closing it up or something, and it was kind of exciting to be there at that moment in time. Which reminds me, we had another exciting thing with the boat. We were at the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was the fisherman of the day, and he was catching fish. And Catherine was swimming here and there with the piece of wood, you know, like a surfboard.
Right.
And we had a raft. We found a raft. There was a lot of wood there that had been nailed together, and we used it. And things were going along fine. And I'm trying to tie this into something, because I recall we had the boat with us, but we weren't in the water at the time. And at the Salton Sea, they were doing developments, real estate developments, and to do that, they excavated into the main shore there, and had the shore had horseshoe shaped. They created horseshoe shapes, 2 or 3 of those, and they were like docks. And but the water wasn't there. The water was outside. They had a earthen dam holding them back. Now we got there the minute they said, okay, it's all ready to go, and they broke the dam, and the water came filling in all these little horseshoe things. It was really exciting, and it was exciting because a boat on that river there came zooming into where it was just land a minute ago.
Wow.
And it was kind of neat, filling each one of these up, and then it was calm. So for the one time while we were there, we were at the shore there, and I had a Red Ryder BB gun.
Okay.
And the Red Ryder BB gun, I was showing the kids, so you know what it was all about. Your mom didn't complain about guns, and I really am not interested in guns in general, but the BB gun is like a kid's thing, a kid's toy. It really isn't, but anyway, I was showing it's what you do. So we set up some cans on a log, and we put the cans on the log, and we went back about, I don't know, 30, 50 feet, whatever it was, and we're shooting at the thing there. And well, as we're finishing off, we see the dog, Spooky, is over there, and she's wandering around, so we yell at her, "Spooky, come out of there." Well, that was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
A black man stood up and said, "I ain't bothering anybody here." And that minute, and your mom almost fell over from embarrassment of calling the spooks, "Come on out," you know, like that.
Right.
That minute we changed that name. It was never Spooky, it was Suki from then on out.
Right.
And it was a very interesting thing, because it taught the kids something that they maybe we never would have been able to tell them, that everybody is a person, and it isn't nice to speak of anybody. And we didn't see him. He was behind the log. When he stood up, it made us feel very uncomfortable, and we learned something. And every time we traveled, we learned a little something new about the world and people.
Sit up straighter, please. Yeah, straight up.
Okay.
There we
Is
go.
that better?
Yeah, that's good. And you can lean back, but that's a little.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Joanne, I just saw my sister a little bit ago downstairs, and she said, "I don't believe you can stand up." I said, "Yeah, I can. I'll show you my system for standing up." I stand up next to a wall, and she said, "Oh, you're doing it." I said, "Yeah, well, the wall is straight, and I get through it, and I can do that." So I have to do more often, and so.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to
Traveling.
these vacations.
Traveling, yeah, we traveled quite a
Vacation.
bit. Oh, there's one travel we went over in Utah.
Yeah.
We're traveling in Utah, and we see there, it says there's a river there that we wanted to see. So we went over, and we drove over, and we drove back and forth through the hills, and we got to this where this looks like the river, and there's the river. And we all got out and went over by the river, and the river is disappearing right in front of our eyes. It stops. It was called Intermittent Creek. And it was intermittent, all right, but where'd it go? Where's it coming back? Finally, after a little while, maybe 20, 25 minutes, here comes the water again. And we got the idea that the water had been accumulating in the mountain next to it there, and it was acting like the top of a toilet. And it was flushing. Every so often it got high enough, and it would flush right out again. And then it would have to accumulate and flush right out again. It was a fascinating thing there. Saw a lot of antlers around. and they were being used as decoration for farms. When you went into the farms,
Yeah.
what's this like? This?
No, you're tilted this way. So
Oh, okay.
There. Now
Yeah.
you're straight. Okay. That's
Better,
okay.
yeah. This is from our exercise class, posture. And it was fascinating to see all the usefulness and the kind of on artwork in antlers, in overhangs. As you went into an entrance of a ranch, we didn't go in the entrance, but you could see from the entrance, barbecue village, and there's all the antlers around. And we kept going, and we kept driving north from where we were in Utah, and eventually got to something called Salt Lake, whatever that meant. It was a salt lake. They said, okay, so let's find out what about it. So we went and parked the trailer and the car, and we got out, and everybody got their swimsuit. Let's go on the Salt Lake. Let's see what it's like. Well, it's nice if you remember to bring a pot of water, nice clean water, and washcloths, because the Salt Lake is salty, and you could go in there and just lay down and you don't sink, and everybody don't sink. But if you get any of that salt on your face and in your eyes, oh boy. So we cleaned out a lot of faces that day.
Right.
Had a good time with it, and I saw pictures later